in the United States, because this was all already pre-planned. It's widely known now that by the people of the United States, they didn't elect him. The fact is, these people that are in control and who are manipulating the United States are manipulating the whole world and creating enormous catastrophes and keeping people fighting with each other constantly. And the wars and the horrors that are going on are creating a trauma base for us all. They know that when people see the kind of horrors and traumas that are going on in our world today, that they're more easily led. It's natural for the human brain to be more suggestible at a time like that, where the conscious mind just is hard to even grasp it, so the subconscious mind is more vulnerable to manipulation, and it comes right on through the media at a time like that to tell us what to do, how to act. And it's happening on a global scale at this time. The truth that set me free from mind control can set us all free. Truth has a way of freeing us from fear. And once we get past the fear and realize that we're being manipulated through the media, we begin to think further and realize what's actually going on in our world today. Not only on a political, global scale, but environmentally. Within our own societies, our own communities. Maybe even in our own churches. My experience in MKULTRA mind control was extreme, and the details are of the various operations that I was used in, including numerous operations associated with Canada, are in Transformation of America, as well as Access Denied. Transformation of America was the deprogramming of my victimization that was actually testimony to the U.S. Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence Oversight. It's all the details and the facts, just the harsh facts. Whereas Access Denied provides solutions and offers much healing information on how I recovered my mind and my memory of what had happened all those years in MKUltra mind control. Because without conscious thought, I had no conscious awareness. Without conscious awareness, I had no memory of what was going on. I was totally amnesic of years and years and years of my life. I didn't know how old I was. I didn't know my own name at times. I didn't know where I'd been. And I certainly didn't have an ability to hope anymore that there was some place in the world where people didn't abuse each other. I had lost that when I was thrust into the project. One of my last free thoughts that I had prior to losing any ability to think for myself was that I would be a nun. And if I were a nun, then I wouldn't be abused. And I think that's very much how a lot of people end up going into that vocation, as hoping for an escape from abuse. But I had a profound experience at that time. I had a knowing that my spirit would always be in a safe, loving place while my body went through MKUltra mind control. The tortures that I endured, the physical tortures, the psychological tortures, the sleep, food, and water deprivation, the high voltage stun guns, the horrors that I saw being perpetrated by those in control of our government, those all were very traumatic for my physical body, and yet my spirit could not be touched. There was no way to possess my spirit, affect my spirit, but there was also no way to express my own spirit. I didn't have the capacity for that, because without free thought, there's no free will, and without free will, there's no soul expression. I had no ability to stand for anything that I believed in. I didn't have any ability to have compassion. I didn't have the ability to protect my own daughter, who was ultimately born directly into MKULTRA mind control. For all the hopes that I had that there was a place where children wouldn't be abused, I couldn't even protect my own daughter. I couldn't protect myself. I'd lost my ability to think of survival means, and I certainly lost my ability to protect my own daughter, which shows how far they can go within the human brain into that instinctual, the maternal instinctual area to even control that, where I couldn't protect her from abuse. They can go so far into the human brain, into the subconscious, that they can manipulate the deepest levels of subconscious that affect our breathing and our heart rate. So that if someone is used in military special forces, for example, they can take a bullet and not bleed and keep on going. The physical endurance with no concept of time is extensive. These were qualities that they were looking for in mind control. They show also how deep they can go into the human brain. What they know about the brain and how it can interact within our own bodies is something we all have a right to know. If it can be manipulated that much from the outside through trauma, imagine what we can do when we know what we're capable of with our own strength of spirit. For all of their plans, for all that they did in MKULTRA mind control, they never once considered the strength of the human spirit. It never occurred to them how important that is in all of us. It's that strength of the human spirit that allows for all of us to stand for those things that we believe in and stand against what is being perpetrated on our planet. That strength of the human spirit is what allows all of us to be able to think further than what we're being told. We just simply need to realize it. The strength of the human spirit is ultimately what allowed me to heal. Once Mark came along in my life and rescued my daughter and I directly out of MKULTRA mind control in 1988. I couldn't think to escape any more than I could think to protect my daughter, or think to survive, or think to stop the horrors that were happening. It took someone like Mark, who had eyes to see, ears to hear, and soul to know what was going on. Somehow he could see so deep inside of me that he saw that little spark of the strength of spirit that I couldn't even express. I had no ability to even express. And yet, he saw it and he knew it. Once Mark rescued my daughter, Kelly, and I, he took us to the safety and serenity of Alaska, where I began remembering all the things that I'd been programmed to forget. I couldn't think to trust Mark, but I had these heightened senses. Because when a person can't think, they develop other senses, as though I'd been blasted into other parts of my brain. It's kind of like how when a blind person has heightened hearing, or there's other senses that come into play to compensate for what we lack. Since I couldn't think, I had a bunch of senses that came into play that had been heightened. And I saw how animals trusted Mark. The animals had an ability to sense and to know in the same way I had an ability to sense and to know. And I thought that maybe I died and gone to heaven. I thought maybe he was an alien. It wasn't anything that I had ever experienced before in life. It was the kind of